Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Monday, the day that has been greatly anticipated is finally here. April 8th, 2024, the solar eclipse in Aries. Aren't we so excited? I am. I just feel really good today. I've already been out and about and grounding in the earth, setting intentions, praying, proclaiming what the power of this day, how the power of this day will manifest through me and for me. By the time you see this, I don't know, it's still pretty early for when it's supposed to reach my side of the world. About 3:30-ish is when it's supposed to come or be as visible. So I guess it just really doesn't matter because the energy's been pronounced even before today, I would say, because it's like the transit her around the world. I've never seen so many people so engaged in the cosmos as they are for this particular experience. So it's not even just limited to us star children and star seeds that, stargazers even, that are connected to the energy. Is quite universal. It's quite a universal spectacle, as it should be, because it affects us all. But certainly how you set intentions, how you engage with the energy, how you establish an expectation makes all the difference. So, as for me and my house, we've set very high expectations, great expectations for the high, just the most supreme frequency of transmission. And this being Aries season, particularly this transit is about really expressing your organic nature and from my perspective, your divine identity. How that gets to pronounce itself, maybe even being birthed altogether or rebirthed, reintroduced to you or reintroduced to the world or in your surroundings. However you exercise the proclamation of I am is what this moment is all about. You like who you are when you look in the mirror? Do you like that profession of I am? What that means in totality, holistically? We've had a lot of time to make some adjustments and arrangements up until now, but of course it's never too late. So who you see is who you get. And who you get is ultimately, your gift to the world, and the reciprocation is what is returned to you. So it only affects you to be most authentic and organic with that pronunciation and proclamation. It affects you most of all. So I pray again, today is a powerful day, that the energy, I've already been in prayer, that the energy is pronounced in an empowering way across the globe and reverberates beyond even those confines throughout the universe, realms of reality, known and unknown, wherever the power of love and light gets to reach. I pray that it does so. So anyway, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, so like I said, by the time this post, who knows at what point in this transit we will be, but it doesn't really matter. It'll still resonate and have relevance no matter what. Okay, so let's see where we are today. King of Cups. Interesting. Definitely a powerful force of love and compassion and the most proactive expression of the spiritual nature of all the kings. And to me, that's a good way to start, because we're talking about activating the I am that is from the source of your spiritual self, that intangible force of you that's just embodied in a physical form, but is far greater and more expansive and even more advanced than what we can literally put our fingers on at times. So something's going on here in terms of maybe really strengthening or affirming. Maybe it's more about affirming your spiritual nature. As I said, I guess that kind of makes sense. Your spiritual nature from its purest essence. It's not the swords, it's not the wands, it's not the pentacles, it's the spirit of the man. Here is what we're looking at. Let's see what we got. Yeah, from a very and really maybe for some, and well, maybe for all, shoot, it's collective, but it's a reintroduction, as I said, of self, as to what that how potent that power truly is. Yeah, like almost seeing, whoa, what's that? Wow, okay. Yeah, okay. That's weird. I didn't mean to do that, of course, but there's an exchange happening creatively, which is why it's so important for us to hold space for the highest frequency in faith that we possibly can, because not everybody's on the same page, but certainly if we can hold the frequency at the highest standard by way of love and compassion and grace and gratitude and, the spiritual essence of the most supreme that we can align with, it gives way for everyone to kind of harness that experience most productively, because it's more or less is good news with the Page of Wands. It's an opportunity to expand in a new way that may be foreign territory, but certainly has the potential to be extremely exciting, to exercise some new talent or ambition or drive, maybe even being infused with a passion that is fresh, a new ambition or excitement or enthusiasm to charter new territory, which in the way of the spirit man could certainly be a charge and a challenge, but it's reflected here in a very positive light, that if you're willing to kind of go with the flow, and as I said, be expectant of a positive start, a positive new beginning, have expectations for fresh opportunities for advancement and where you can expand your passion in ways that may have been contained before, and being gracious with yourself, to allow yourself to learn yourself as a new self and express yourself as a new self. Almost being fascinated with yourself is what I see sometimes with the Page of Wands, like, ooh, look what I can do type of energy, like Stuart. Yes, that's exactly what that is. Wow, that's funny. Stuart from, what is that, Mad TV? Look what I can do. Oh, Stuart. Oh, that's funny. All right, so let's see where we're going here. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, because I just, honestly, the funny thing is, I kind of had the timing mixed up. My intention was to kind of go out, ground, soak up that energy. I thought things were going to be moving and shaking on my side of town by 12:30, but I rechecked the time again after, I was already outside, and I was like, because nothing was happening. I'm like, I know something is supposed to be visible on this side. And so I checked again, and apparently it's not until about 3:39-ish my time. So maybe I don't know, maybe I just had something mixed up, but I definitely searched for Eastern Standard Time. But my intention was to go out, ground, soak up whatever vibrations I could, and then bring that into the message. However, I just went out and grounded, and like I said, set some intentions. So hopefully the transmission happens all the same. But other than that, I just kind of just want to be in my own space, if you don't mind. At this point, probably was a reason why I was misinformed for this very purpose, to kind of keep that energy conserved and preserved. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow with it. I don't know, unless I feel guided to come back. I doubt it. But we'll see. In any event, I'm going to try to keep it sweet. Let's try to get a cute little pyramid and call it a day. You like, okay, girl, if that's what you feel. Here's this crossover moment. Yes, this is mastery of emotions, moving from turbulent times to more peaceful and calmer waters. The King of Cups is someone who is like walk on water type of energy with the King of Cups. And then here with the Six of Swords, yes, come through, Spirit. That's someone that knows how to properly receive and affirm his emotional energy and even emotional intelligence. Let's not forget that intuition, the intuitive nature of self, again, that's intangible, sometimes doesn't even make sense, to feel the way that you feel or even intuitively know what you know. But this is the energy of being comfortable in that unknowing, and even the transmission of that wisdom and truth as as you feel guided to do, as you feel guided to share or to apply it more than anything, I would say. So this change in and this is reconciliation. So again, it's definitely giving affirmation to a reconciliation with your natural being, your spirit nature, where we have become very separated by interference and societal projections, and who knows, God knows whatever else at this point. It's all being revealed as we speak, but it's like we're being reconnected to who we are most organically and affirmed in that reconnection. And that is what is more or less like the vehicle of transportation into a more blissful state of energy and experience. Because I always see this as like a crossover from from captivity into more or less like your promised land, or liberation at best, where you're free to feel and think as you would naturally, left to your own devices without any interference, without any interruptions. You're free to be active in that spiritual and energetic expression. And it also shapes your thoughts differently, which we know our thoughts are what project our reality. So this is good energy here. Yeah, because when you're feeling different about who you are and your surroundings, even where you've been, like think about the reflection now, having come through that last lunar eclipse, and also coming through Mercury retrograde, where we've been quite reflective about our energetic force and our connection one with others. But particularly, I think, in terms of it being focused on partnership and relationship, it's really more about the relationship with ourselves and putting those fragments back together. So now with that more more filtered cleanse perspective, I should say. And it's still happening. So, I don't think it's a matter of here we are April 8th and everything's going to change at the snap of a finger. Everything, is happening in universal order, but certainly there is a transmission taking place right now that is highly active, and activating, that something gets to change today. It's just really a matter as to what you are intentional and aware of allowing to occur. Certainly not with resistance. This is not a resistance card. You're kind of going with the flow of the water, of the frequency, of the current that is evolving as we speak, but in a masterful way with the King of Cups. It's like you see it coming. It's like the captain of the ship type of energy. Yeah, that's what it's giving. Like you're taking back, wow, this is powerful. You're taking back control over your spiritual vessel. You are taking control. And certainly there's a co-creative, there's a co-captain experience here, still with that intangible nature of you, but being more aware of how the two are aligned and intertwined and how they work much better together than apart. Oh, I love this. I love this. So yeah, like I said, crossing over moments into more peaceful, calmer existence, liberation, free to feel how you feel, and conduct that energy through your thoughts to project what is most ideal instead of the worst or thoughts of influence that are malintentioned. Now you get to reclaim how the ship of you gets steered, how that ship navigates these waters. Back to that Page of Wands, because that's the outlook, that's the energy. It's like almost childlike in a sense where it's, an innocence of passion that hasn't been tainted. Like I said, look what I can do. Like Stuart thought he was really doing something. And in his mind he was, and to his mom he was like the apple of his mama's eye. And that's how we are. Like, we're growing in our sovereignty, even as we are still the apple of the divine's eye. Like allowing ourselves to kind of stretch our energetic muscles as to exactly what we can do. Look what we can do to ourselves and, one to another, but certainly the divine watching all the time. Like, look at my kids. They finally seeing, they finally getting it. They finally growing into their spiritual bodies, so this is powerful. Then we got the Knight of Cups here. Some offer of passion, like it's coming along, like this evolution of, maybe for some it's like you haven't quite gotten there yet, or this could even be the reflection of an offer that it's like, yeah, because as the King of Cups is kind of side-eyeing over to this way. It's kind of like, be wary of offers, people trying to offer you something that they either think you would want or that would tickle your fancy in some way, shape, or form, because that's kind of what the Knight of Cups does in a lower frequency, or a questionable frequency, I would say, like a little bit seductive of an offer. And it's like, it's kind of almost like offering you something. Oh God, why did I get that analogy? That's weird. I just got the now everybody may not get this, but I just got the analogy of like when, I just say it plainly, like crackheads try to sell you something that you got in the house, on the street, like the strangest things. I don't know why, but that literally pierced through so clearly, like trying to sell me a cup of water. Like I already got oceans of on reserve, like or maybe. And so in that regard, like somebody trying to sell you on an idea about your spiritual nature, trying to make you drink some type of Kool-Aid. Yeah. We've seen it all. If you live in the hood or hood adjacent in any way, you have had to have seen something that just tickle you like, really? Like, dude, I almost rather just give you the $5, but come on, what do I need with a pack of Kool-Aid right now? You know, a cup of noodles or whatever. Strange things. But anyway, that's what I saw. But to make it relevant, is like somebody trying to sell you on something that you already possess, trying to tell you that they have the solution, the elixir, the healing, the answer, something spiritual. Yeah, it's something about selling a spiritual concept, or trying to like offer you something, and from the energy that I just gave, it could be poison to your soul. So someone trying to offer you some exchange, or seduce you with an exchange for your energy for some much lesser return, when the object is really to get you to forfeit your fortune spiritually and soulfully. You know, like almost sell your birthright. I now I'm seeing that vision of like when, what was that Cain and Abel? No, that was Esau and Jacob and Esau in the Bible, where he is that right? Lord. I hope that's right. But where he sold his birthright for soup. You know, he was so hungry. Oh, this is giving a different energy now. Watch out for government projections trying to sell you on some elixir for your soul, like some sanctuary or safety or healing. They may try to get funny and project some type of, crisis in some way, shape, or form. And then, we've seen this before though, like, and then present the elixir, the remedy, the V word, and I don't mean the other one, you know what I'm talking about, for your to secure your mortality, when if you really consider it, it's unfortunate in some regards, but if you're under the sound of my voice at this time, you surmounted one of the greatest spiritual heists that we've seen in our lifetime, by way of what happened through the C word and the V word. And if you didn't get swept away in that current, then you have to consider that you must be something special, and that your energetic makeup is something that can sustain and stand against any infliction or influence, particularly of malintention. So again, like, I don't know what I'm seeing or speaking of, but the way it came up as crackhead vibes and stuff like that, we all know that crack is whack, so literally the exchange here would be for you to kind of sell your soul and be tainted in the natural, organic way that you would be, again, left to your own devices without interference. Here is the finesse and the seduction to try to get you to release the cup that you already possess. It's like, I don't need your water, I don't need your Kool-Aid, I don't need your noodles, I don't need none of that. I'm sustained naturally on my own. If anything, they need what you have, i.e. the crackhead needs your money, your energy to fund their habit, to satisfy their addiction. Follow me, camera. They need what you have more than anything, and it's quite clear. But, in that regard, even as I'm saying, like, I almost want to give you the $5 just so you're not out here selling, freaking baby formula and stuff. It's just more and more strange. But to that point, be conservative about how you disperse even your material energy, because even that could be used against you, or it somehow could add to the detriment of the deterioration. And as I said, we're all sharing this realm together, and we really don't need that energy one to another. Even though many of us are kind of in a bit of a bubble energetically and spiritually to some degree, we're still sharing the space. The realm is still communal ground, and even consciously speaking. So you really don't want to be adding your highly supreme life force vitality to energies that don't mean to do well with it. You know, it's like you would want to help out the man with the addiction, but you really don't, because you know where that energy is going, and it's not going to be life fueling, you know. So anyway, all that to say, let's move on. That was weird. Right. Ooh. And here's the Empire. Yeah. Trying to impede progress of this crossover moment, but see the difference in position here. Trying to pronounce his energy, his power, like, you can't get through me, or you can't do it without me, or you got to go through me to get, yeah, like, no, you don't. No, you don't. The Emperor is grounded to the earth. This is spiritual transportation here. Spirit fueled, spirit guided, spirit led, and spirit assured to the shore of safety. So any projection that would like to present itself in any authoritative impact, or that's not really the word I'm looking for, like to assert your command over that natural transition is out of order. It's out of order, and it's out of time, because you're already well on your way at this point. Like I said, the energy's been doing what the energy was going to do. It's just pronouncing itself now in real time in the way that we connect to the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, and even Mercury doing what it does. It's like this has already been underway. It's just kind of funneling down to our awareness. So to react and respond to the transit in real time at this point is to kind of be too late, as a trash truck is going the opposite wrong way down my one-way street. Strange. Exactly, like heading in the wrong direction and carrying nothing prosperous for anybody. Trash, filth, basura. All right, let's see what else we got. Perhaps having to live in the filth that they have ultimately created. What was that? Just want to see. Yeah, Two of Swords like that. It don't concern you. It don't concern you, not one bit. And the implication would be to want you to not see how little it actually does concern you. Oh, this is back out. Six of Pentacles. This is community, sharing, giving, exchanging. Wow. Because it can't be stopped. This equal give and take, this harmonious connection, collective connection. This is what the transition is toward, where the playing ground is balanced and everybody has the opportunity to achieve, aspire, not the way that it's projected as equal opportunity to, societally, because it never was, I'll say, truly equal. There was always a dominant force that was manipulating that function. Here, I mean, the magician in reverse, that's like warlock energy. And as I said, time's up. So even the ways that they still, whomever they is, that energy of obstinance and resistance would still want to resist and cause to manipulate the natural order of evolution for their own advancement or for their own motives. It's like the energy that is projected is not quite connecting. Like I said, for all those other reasons, it's out of time, it's out of alignment, it's out of order. Certain transmissions and transferences have already occurred energetically as people are taking their power back emotionally to decide how they want to feel and how they're going to wield those emotions as life force fuel, and not allowing them to be conducted for them or tainted even in that regard. Yeah, and it's causing a stir in community, a collective consciousness of creativity, where if you didn't know, now you know. You don't have you really don't have an excuse for not being privy to a certain awareness, because there's so many people that are willing to share just their little nugget of truth from their perspective that should be inspiring to ignite the same in another. So my truth may not be yours holistically, but it should be inspiring for you to want to activate your own and assert your own, affirm your own. Identity is what it comes down to. Like, oh no, we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to be that. Well then, shoot, if that's the case, then what options do I have? Well, let me go see, and it foils the plan of the dark magician that only has an ulterior motive to create casualties of consciousness, to literally superimpose their will against sovereign spirits. That's what this energy is here. So it's saying to me that whatever the intention may have been to cause some mystical or mysterious corruption, like this could even, like I said, to have something be passed around or have, because that could also be that, like a contagion, so a contagion of sorts that's been overturned. It's not going to quite, if anything, it probably backfired, and those that wanted to create that for the masses are going to be susceptible to it themselves. That's how that's going to go down, if it hasn't already. Exactly, like, here you go. Special delivery. Like, nope. It's not going to go the way that they thought, the way that they hoped and planned and envisioned it for eons, to kind of bring creation back to this square one. We need the government, we need the empire, we need supervision, like untrustworthy to operate in their own function. This is what this energy is given with the Page of Pentacles, like creating children out of sovereign souls, but as a sacrifice ultimately, because there is a value here with the Page of Pentacles, a very tangible value, but it's like trying to cause a distortion between the awareness of that value and diminish it is what it really is, so that those that know the value can absorb it for themselves, but it's like it's too far gone. The good news has already spread too far and wide at this point that people can't be rocked back to sleep to this stage of meaninglessness and worthlessness. Like you're only worth a penny. Like, oh, well, here I go. I just got this little penny for you. Meanwhile, that's a whole gold coin, solid gold. And you know what? I'm going to say it too. Why not? It's probably what this is about too. I had this download a while back about how, how like our treasury and stuff was, our reserves were measured in gold, like the gold standard, or however you say that. I'm not too well versed in it because I didn't go too far in the actual research, but it was just kind of like a download that how we used to measure our wealth as a nation by actual gold and silver, and that now has been inflated and stuff like that. But I think the reason why we've been able to, as it seems, to overprint money and almost spend. You see our government giving billions and trillions and just shelling out money and energy to places, and it's like, well, where the hell are all this? Where is this money coming from? And we over here starving and people sleeping on the streets and so on and so forth. I got this download that the people, and maybe not all the people, but a certain caliber of energy is what is the measurement. It's like the gold is within the people, something like that. And it's like the treasury is really on account of a certain frequency of human being. Take that loosely and lightly, however you will. But the embodiment of the human embodiment of a certain frequency, or like a specimen of, I don't know how to say it, but basically that's what our treasury is measured by, and that's what the mad dash for regaining and reassuming control is for. Because if the people start to see their own worth and they're not contributing it to, and you can see that practically so, right? So obviously people are becoming more independent, owning their own businesses, just doing their own thing, and it's less, there's less of a direct pipeline into the structure of society through those pillars, even homeschooling your kids and independently expressing your talents and your artistry and things like that. All of that is affected in the natural world, right? But there's something about the spirit, which is why we probably started with the King of Cups. It's something about the spirit of the man, or a particular type of man, that is so precious. It's like a commodity of sorts, and unbeknownst to us, they're weighing dollar for dollar on our very energetic souls, on the price and wealth of our energetic force. So without the control over that commodity, that's where the depreciation in the wealth of society is happening, because we're taking our power back. We're reclaiming our time, reclaiming our energy, our life force. Again, seeing the commodity that we are, and that we don't have to offer or lend, sacrifice, or relent that life force over to any so-called higher entity or powerful entity. It's like the realization of self in its most supreme and organic essence is what has offset the subservience to this order, this societal order as it is. But it's more than societal, it's celestial, it's something bigger than what I really have the words to explain. But me seeing the Six of Pentacles, the Magician card in the reverse, and then the Page of Pentacles, this is a new awareness, a heightened awareness of what you've been all along, which is the fund and the fuel of this realm. Without you, it doesn't get to exist. It definitely doesn't thrive in the way that it's been designed to do so, where the lesser man is just an offering for the small the small majority, or the minor, the small minority, or whatever I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like the so-called powers that were, which those that stand in the human form are literally just the front for some more mechanical force, more multi-dimensional entity. So it's big, it's deep, it's all that, but it definitely still starts back at one with you, realizing and recognizing the truth of your identity and how it contributes to the whole. Yeah. So there's that. What's under here? Strength, okay. Your own power, your own authority over the primal nature that opposing forces would want to defer you to, so that you're afraid of catching some disease or falling fatally ill, or not having enough resources, not having enough food, not having enough time, money, a job, or this or that, like all of these carnal and primal I don't know what you call it, like cares, to kind of hold your attention, when it's like, you're the freaking King of Cups. You have the elixir of life, of from whence all of creation began, and where it persists and prospers. It's not in the superficial expression of that energy that's been man-made and man-marketed. Like, you've been on the auction block for a long time, just being sold from one pillar to another post. And now people are kind of taking themselves off the market just by way of self-awareness. And it's completely debilitating the system from being able to, like, manipulate that force. It's funny because it's like it's weird. It's so weird, and it was really a long shot when you get into it, because the fuel, the strength of the mechanism came from the sovereign entities. So it doesn't work without it, but it also, how am I trying to say that? It's like, if it wasn't for the energy, it wouldn't have fueled the mysticism and the magic in the first place. So it's like they had to steal that life force to empower their ambitions and to continue it, to maintain it and sustain it. And because they don't have access, or that commodity is not as plentiful as it once was, where you could literally just pick a divine off the vine. Like, I want that energy. I want that, like, it's something weird here that I'm picking up on. And it would be the sustenance for refuel, regeneration, to keep the party going, keep the lie alive. But it's not as plentiful anymore. There's a deficiency, or the true, what do you call it? With our food, how they're projecting that energy to us, like the famine. The true famine is by way of what is no longer as easily accessible to feast upon. You know, like that's why the crackhead vibes came up, because that's the energy it's given. It's like they can't get that fix. It's not like the intravenous shot that it used to be before, to just juice up on spiritual beings and then, you know, empower this, whether it be a single man or an entire empire. It's not the same transfusion anymore. It's not the elixir of life. It's not available. It as a matter of fact, it's like this organism is resistant to, where it used to be able to like take a hit and juice up, it's like almost resistant to the effects, let alone to you know, how like ultimately or eventually you get high enough that you don't even get as high as you used to. And that happens with all drugs, even with weed. Like after a while, it's just kind of like you're smoking the same stuff. It's not even giving you the same feeling that you had before, or it's not as sustained for as long. So then you gotta smoke more, and then eventually that wears down on you. So that's kind of what's happening here, like the breakdown of abuse and addiction of, in this regard, by way of the abuser and the addict, and or inorganic substance, because it's inorganic to their natural beings. And now it's like their body, the living organism that's been juiced up on this substance, on this commodity, is rejecting it. But because the substance itself is rejecting the host, it doesn't, there's no synergy there anymore. So the only way to try to regain that dynamic is to try like to create it, fabricate it, is what I'm trying to say. And that's not working either, because it's just too far gone naturally. Like I never smoked fake weed, you know, that fabricated weed, but I hear it's really not all that great, and the effects of it are just terrible to your body. So it's like you would want the natural stuff, you know, that came from the earth, more or less, you know, questionable these days as to where anything comes from, but that's what you would need in order for it to, you know, because true, you know, real organic from the earth green has a different effect on the body, especially when you're smoking it purely cannabis, not, you know, with all the additives and preservatives, and then smoking it with wraps that are fabricated and all that type of stuff, tobacco wraps or whatever. It by itself has a different effect on the body than all the other stuff. And it's like that's what has worked against it. It's like they over tainted the stash with a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't quite organic. That has had a backfire effect. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, what is organic you will always be able to take that seed, replant it, and it cultivate from its natural organism. And that's what we're talking about here. It's like eventually it can return back to its natural form. You know, it can be recultivated, regenerated. But that fake stuff is only going to make more fake stuff. What am I talking about here? I don't know. All right, let's go. I know, but I don't know, because I feel like there's something more behind my words that is not quite coming through. Maybe it is, and I just can't hear it right now, or it's not supposed to be heard quite clearly yet. I realize that as well. Yeah, here's this entitlement, you know, trying to avenge what's been lost, or what's been, like trying to hold on, exactly, trying to hold on to the energy, you know, and very aggressively and angrily. And again, it's a night energy. Still, this could be like the henchman when we're looking at the knights, because this is the Knight of Swords now, was the Knight of Cups. It's the henchman of the empire. So it's not even like the powers that were themselves, whatever that is, whomever that is. It's like flunkies or offsprings. I hate to say flunkies, but I don't even know. It's like the army of the empire, but the defects. It's like a defunct army. It's not really, because there's no respect to the armed forces here that diligently have the objective of protecting our borders and protecting our country. It's not me speaking about that. That's different than what it's like a secret service or secret arms or special ops or something, but it's not all that special, is what I'm feeling. It's like either they are not aware of the distortion of the mission, maybe they've been told something else as to why this is necessary or warranted, and so they're clinging to that oath or whatever. Or it could just be like, it could be clinging to some potential for prosperity or some financial reward in exchange for their allegiance. Whatever it gets to be, it's soldiers that have a distorted charge. It's like it's like, really forgive them, for they know not what they do type of energy, because they don't even know what they are contributing and investing their energy into. What is given, like during that C word, V word time, where people were championing the cause for the V word, and almost being propped up against others, like you should do this for the good of the country, for the good of every, you're selfish if you don't, and like causing this what do you call it? Not distinction, but division between people that choose one way or the other, which, completely went over my head. I could care less. But some people were influenced by that, and did feel like, well, damn, I guess it is my duty to, protect the good of the land, or, what I mean? Like humanity or whatever. That's the energy is given. It's like people are kind of being paper soldiers in a way to champion some propaganda that is not even what they think it is. Like they don't even know that they're leading the charge for a much more diabolical cause. So, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what that's in regards to, but either way, it's defunct here with the Four of Pentacles, because we're already at the 6, which means that people are already too wise, too evolved, to be held on to or be held accountable for things that are not germane to their personal existence. So it may fall on deaf ears, as a matter of fact, or just on, a very small few or range that will respond to it, in the way that was intended for it to be so. But the energy, and really when you think about it, it's like, for the most part, with separating wheat from the chaff, it's like, well, if you could be that easily swayed, then you probably weren't resonating on a certain frequency anyway, honestly, just to be fair. But the energy that is really most desirable and of the highest commodity is what's most necessary to continue. Like, it's like that lower force fuel is not really what does the trick anymore. As I said, it has to be the organic energy. The fabrication is not really as vital or functional as it used to be. So even if you glamour the lower hanging fruit of the masses to believe that they need to do this or do that or take this or take whatever, it's like you may have won the battle in that regard to have a great number of those that will invest in that truth, but you didn't win the war because the best of the citizens of creation are still like, no way, Jose. You know, you won't get me type of energy. And that's what's needed. The real special ops, you know, the real, you know, special forces is what would be needed to truly carry out some level of victory. You know, not these paper soldiers here. So, I don't know, it's so funny to me. Yeah, like exactly. People are like, nope, not gonna do it. Or it'll have to be an abort mission type of situation. Oh, that's still there because I didn't get very far. Or that's what's really under there. When I would get done with it, I put it on top. The star card, exactly. This is the force fuel that I'm talking about. It has to be this. It's like premium gas is the only thing that's going to make this ship work. Oh, darn it. Oh, but I'll tell you what it is, and I ain't even gonna pick it up. It's the Ten of Swords in reverse that just slid off of here. And that's exactly where it should be. Trying to reignite sabotage and trauma to the nations, like keep it from coming to an end, a close, a completion, like start it all over again. But it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen the way that they want it to. It'll be self-inflicted. So with this Eight of Cups, it's like best to kind of walk away, abort mission really and truly. Exactly, and that landed in reverse because it's not gonna happen the way that it's intended. And I don't know what people know that is unknown by the universe, because it's like everything is pointing to this truth, and it's like people are still resistant to it. Like, no, I think we can still do it. I think we still got it. But it's like, how sway? Literally, how do you suppose to sway the supreme source of all in your favor at this point? Not what it has been, but I suppose that's the illusion of the past, that it appeared to be effective. Whatever the magic, whatever the manipulation was, it had it made an impact and there was a result. But the evidence that is most pronounced now is that collectively, for the good of us all, not even just one to another or one over another, it's for the good of all, the planet even itself, that something has to change. We can't keep going the way that we've been. So do you think the universe will yield for, to forsake its own preservation to a diabolical force that only means to preserve itself and itself alone, with casualties, innumerable at this point? Is not gonna go down like that. It just doesn't even make sense. Star card still there, right? This doesn't even make sense that you would go against the natural order of, divine alignment, of destiny in this regard. Literally, the desire of the divine for something that is contrary to this creative consciousness. And that's the funny thing. It's like it doesn't even work for those that would want to impose it. It's like they don't even get it. Like you're not even going to even be sustained by what you're trying to inflict and impose. You're not going to survive it. Is it just a matter of if I go, everybody goes at this point, or if I can't have it, no one will? It could be. It could be literally that diabolical. It would make more sense than anything. Or it could just be the arrogance of the empire, as I said, looking back at in history, seeing the eons of success, more or less, or by their standard, to maintain a certain standard or a success rate, and just being affirmed, quite egotistically, that it must reoccur. It must still be a possibility. But it's just kind of like, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna all have to see together. Let me get one more and then I'm out of here. Because this is the true power right here. Untainted, supremely pronounced, divine in truth, pure. And it is all those things because it's pure. It's like the ultimate high is what that is, the Ace of Wands. The high that never comes down. And it's natural at that. Passion without interference. Unlimited creativity and inspiration. Like you flex that's that Page of Wands now projecting in this more supreme vibration where you allow yourself to grow and evolve and flex your muscles and look what you can do now at the Ace of Wands. And then that energy begots even back to the page again to inspire yet another project, another vision, another ambition. But it can be empowered by the supreme force because its origins are supreme. It's not tainted, it's not fabricated, it's not synthetic. That's the other word I was trying to think of, synthetic. It's not poisonous, it can always be revived and regenerated and refueled, even, transmuted as some other force in some other way because it was organic and of pure essence, premium essence. That's always going to win over these fabrications. It just is what it is. So people trying, in the most primitive sense, people trying to steal what you do, steal your ideas, repurpose them, re-express them in some different form, like, change a couple things over here, over there. Like, that's not our idea. That's not what he said. This is, I had this a long time ago. Like, yeah, right. No, you didn't. You stole that straight from the writer's desk, straight from the creator's portfolio, straight from the YouTube page, the website, whatever, straight from somebody's diary or straight from their musical discography, their what do you call it? What's that streaming site? SoundCloud. It's like you literally stole intellectual and energetic property and repurposed it as your own. And that's why it's not sustainable. That's why it doesn't work, quite the way that it used to, because it's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. It's never going to work for you. You'll always need, just as high as you get, you'll always need another hit in another hour because the substance is not aligned with your organism. So just as high as someone may get off of stealing ideas or poaching inspiration or siphoning power and energy, they're always going to need to juice up again, because that'll wear off just as quick as you got it. And then that's when people do get into doing some strange things for change, like I said, with the crackhead vibes, trying to sell you salt and pepper shakers on the corner, because they just got to get it somehow, some way, because they haven't cultivated their own living organism in a way that it could be expressed, organically. They may not have much to express, or at least they don't think they do, to one, or they just feel that others is better than theirs. I don't know what the issue is with that. Truly, it could be a combination of all of those things. But for whatever it's worth, it's someone that's not pleased enough with their own I am. Back to the beginning. They either don't know the I am, or they rather not be that I am. So they rather take someone else's I am and fit it on for size like a freaking meat suit, energy suit or something. I don't know. But either way, it's like it's not going to thrive. It won't thrive. It can't thrive. It's just the law, the spiritual law and the natural law of this realm. Either way, it's just out of order, out of time, and out of line. So if you can't cultivate it from your own loins, literally, your own life force at this time, you won't be able to sustain it. And as a matter of fact, it'll start to react against you, like I said, for your body to reject it. And that's where I'm getting here, where it's like a backfire situation where it'll almost start to attack your living organism until you expel it completely. Like when you go through withdrawal. But in this case, it's like the withdrawal is happening on account of what has not been able to be attained, surely. But when you also when it's also attempted to be consumed at this rate of frequency, it's like an even more aggressive withdrawal. Like it's almost trying to kick from your veins or kick from your organism in some way. And it could happen practically, like I said, you go to steal somebody's stuff and try to project it as your own, and all types of bad stuff happens. First of all, you get exposed, you don't make the money, or you actually lose money on the investment. You are expelled from that community, whatever that gets to be. It's just like a series of very unfortunate occurrences that wouldn't have happened. Yeah, it might be tough to go through that withdrawal of not having what you're used to, but eventually you kick the substance and you come back to what? Your natural being. So that's the only way out, or the only way in at this time. Yeah, look, here's that force here, always chasing this power and this energy. In this regard, with the knights are all a little funky here today. From the cups to the swords, now to the Knight of Wands, this is that impulsive, even compulsive energy that's just unbridled. This would be that addictive nature that can't be controlled. Like, oh, I gotta have it. They just want the sensation of that high, that feeling. And like I said, it gets more and more depreciated with time, to the point where it's like it used to feel like this, but now it's a night. It's like eating Chinese food. You're gonna be hungry in a couple hours. That's what this energy is giving. It's not quite getting you to, the climax or the euphoria. That's what it is. Euphoria, that you're chasing that high, that first high all over again. Or that supreme high is what it is. Because it may have been able to be attained for a long time, over and over again, although still not sustained over, a long time. But that height of it, that frequency, may have been able to be achieved. And it's like, once you get that, it's like, well, I gotta have more of that. But now it's literally like chasing the first high all over again, and it's never going to be what it was before now. It's never going to be that again. It's just not. Exactly. Because Spirit says so. Temperance, balance, harmony, it's already happening. The world has already changed too much for the same addictions and what else did I call it? I said addictions and, because we treat addiction like illness, more or less. And for those same illnesses to persist, even for those that insist upon it, it's like even that is having to be balanced out. Like I said, it's like either you're going to kick it one way, by not having it, or it's going to kick you when you try to have it and it rejects your body, or your body rejects it. I think it's the first way around, like it rejects you more than you reject it. And that's what's happening because it's just the universal ordinance for all things to be balanced fairly, equally, to be healed, at this point from this grave disturbance between the haves and the have-nots, and those that are willing to kill, steal, and destroy in many ways to have more and more and more, while some have less and less and less. It's just not going to stand anymore because it's no good for any of us. So happy solar eclipse. This is the energy that's turning over. It's quite pronounced here in the message of what great expectations are on the horizon, at least for some of us. Maybe not, maybe everybody doesn't feel like it's so great, but it certainly is, overall, or Archangel Michael wouldn't be here to affirm it, i.e. the Temperance card. It's like what can't be done on our own, what we can't, well, I can't even say that because this presence wouldn't even be so pronounced by way of angelic assistance and, again, this reconciliation of spirit and man, if we weren't in a position to receive it, to literally assert it, affirm it, to manifest it, so the co-creativity is still a thing no matter what angle you look at it from, literally what angle or angel you see it from. It's still on account in this regard of our passionate ambition and drive toward that synergy. Just being tired of the fabricated high, the false elevation, the facades, the illusions, the delusions of grandeur, like really being intentional about being an expression of authenticity and creating experiences that are authentic. I am is the operative phrase right now. I am. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, happy solar eclipse to you. Let it be so in spirit and in truth. Don't be distracted by the fear mongering or projections or propaganda or even the stunts that may be pronounced now or even a little after now to try to deflect from the truth of reality at this time. That we are all evolving by our own intention to do so. So you can definitely hop on in at any time. The water is fine. All right. Again, thanks for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.